The enigma of the Bermuda Triangle, a sailor's yarn, and scientific scrutiny. In the old days, when the sea was a harsh mistress and navigators relied on their wits, I remember a voyage that chilled us to the bone. We were sailing a small coastal freighter from Miami up to Savannah. It was a clear, moonless night, one of those deep, inky blacknesses where the sky feels heavy, when a strange phenomenon appeared ahead. Not a fog, but a colossal, shimmering wall of water that didn't break or move, just hung there like a massive pane of dark glass. When the vessel entered this curtain, everything went haywire. The magnetic compasses spun like dervishes, the stars vanished overhead, and the entire crew felt a dizzying pressure, a sensation of being utterly unmoored. We couldn't tell if it lasted minutes or an hour, but when we emerged, the water was unnaturally still, the night air silent. Far out in the vast, open stretch of the Atlantic, where the azure ocean kisses the horizon, lies the legendary Bermuda Triangle. This infamous patch of sea, steeped in mystery and dread, has earned its place as one of humanity's greatest unsolved puzzles. Tales are told of ships vanishing without a trace, as if the ocean floor opened up to swallow them whole. Planes simply drop off the radar, their pilots never managing to send a distress signal, and if wreckage is found, it's often confounding, sometimes looking as if it had been dissolved. For centuries, mariners have swapped stories of bizarre flashes of light above the waves and navigation instruments that seemed to have minds of their own, defying the very laws of physics. Pinpointing the phantom zone. While its boundaries are not etched in stone, the triangle is generally understood to cover the area between the southern coast of Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. This colossal quadrant of the ocean, spanning over 500,000 square miles, is rumored to conceal hundreds, perhaps thousands, of lost ships, aircraft, and souls. The first written account linked to the strange occurrences here comes from none other than Christopher Columbus himself. In 1492, during his groundbreaking voyage to the New World, his logbook noted peculiar activity. His crew observed shimmering lights dancing on the water, and his compass behaved erratically, marking the first recorded signs of alarm in this area. Since then, the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle have multiplied. Consider the chilling loss of the USS Cyclops, a massive U.S. Navy collier that disappeared in 1918, taking over 300 men with it. Even more infamous is the case of Flight 19 in 1945, an entire squadron of 5 torpedo bombers that vanished. The pilots reported instrument failures and utter disorientation before all communication ceased. The planes were never found, and to compound the tragedy, a rescue seaplane sent to find them also disappeared. What makes this stretch of ocean so profoundly baffling? Is it natural anomalies, methane eruptions from the seabed, magnetic storms, or something far beyond human comprehension? Historical layers of the mystery. The phenomenon of the Bermuda Triangle didn't materialize overnight. It's a tapestry woven from centuries of collected maritime accounts. Columbus's 1492 log entry is the cornerstone, describing twinkling, star-like lights and compasses that went on the blink. In the 15th century, such events were understandably ascribed to the mystical. In later centuries, this Atlantic patch continued to baffle with anomalous incidents. Sailors spoke of squalls that sprang up from nowhere, ghost ships, and weird lights bubbling up from the ocean deep. By the 19th century, mass disappearances became a frightening constant. One of the most head-scratching episodes in maritime history is that of the Mary Celeste. Though typically associated with a different area of the Atlantic, the tale of the brigantine, discovered in 1872, completely abandoned, but otherwise shipshape, cargo intact, food on the table, perfectly illustrates the confounding nature of these disappearances. No sign of a struggle, no damage. The entire crew had simply vanished into thin air. The colossal USS Cyclops vanished with 306 crew members in 1918. Its final messages were unremarkable, yet the vessel, well equipped for its time, disappeared without an SOS or finding a single piece of wreckage. The case of Flight 19. The mystery of Flight 19 is perhaps the most famous, serving as a poster child for the Triangle. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avengers set out on a routine training mission. An hour into the flight, the airmen reported severe navigation issues. The squadron leader's final, haunting words recorded on airwaves were, "We don't know where we are. Everything is strange. Even the ocean looks wrong." The link was then severed. When a rescue plane was dispatched, it too disappeared, bringing the total loss of life that day to 27. Neither the planes nor their debris were ever located. But Flight 19 is just the tip of the iceberg. The 20th century saw dozens of baffling incidents. In 1948, the Star Tiger airliner vanished with 31 people aboard. In 1949, the Star Ariel, another plane from the same company, disappeared. The American freighter SS Sandra disappeared in 1950. The tanker SS Marine Sulphur Queen suddenly sank in 1963 without sending any distress signal. Adding to the confusion, many radio operators in the region reported freak interference, disappearing signals, and eerie noises on the airwaves. Navigational gear would either give wildly chaotic readings or simply shut down. In 1964, journalist Vincent Gaddis coined the term Bermuda Triangle, publishing an article and later a book that popularized the image of the triangle as a domain of bizarre, unexplained forces, be it alien intervention, interdimensional portals, or energetic vortices. Though later investigations showed that many of the facts were exaggerated, some lost ships were found elsewhere, and some planes crashed due to verifiable causes, the core of unexplained incidents remained. Even if some stories were blown out of proportion, hundreds of cases remain bafflingly unexplained. Today, the Bermuda Triangle is more than a spot on the map. It's an enduring legend that captures the imagination. Science weighs in. Rational explanations. For decades, scientists have been trying to solve the riddle of the Bermuda Triangle, seeking logical reasons for the mysterious disappearances. Among the most popular scientific hypotheses are methane gas eruptions from the seabed, magnetic anomalies, and the influence of powerful oceanic currents. Each theory has a solid grounding and can account for some of the phenomena observed. Methane gas eruptions. One of the most compelling theories involves the vast deposits of methane hidden beneath the seafloor. Research indicates that several miles below the Atlantic are massive reserves of gas hydrates, methane trapped in crystalline ice structures. Under certain conditions, like seismic activity or changes in temperature, these hydrates can suddenly decompose, releasing colossal bubbles of gas. If a vessel is in the zone of such a sudden, massive eruption, it loses buoyancy because the methane-saturated water has a drastically lower density. The ship would literally plunge into the abyss without leaving any significant debris on the surface. Experiments have shown that small ship models do indeed sink instantly in gas-saturated water. Such eruptions could explain the sudden, total disappearances of ships. Methane could also pose a threat to aircraft. If a huge bubble of gas rises into the atmosphere, it creates an area of rarefied air where aircraft engines could fail due to lack of oxygen. magnetic and compass anomalies. Another puzzling aspect of the triangle is the consistent reports of navigational failures. Mariners and pilots frequently reported compasses going haywire, the needle spinning erratically or pointing the wrong way. Scientists have confirmed that the Bermuda Triangle area does experience unusual magnetic disturbances. This region is home to a geomagnetic anomaly, where the Earth's magnetic field deviates from the global average. Some researchers propose that this is one of the few places on the planet where magnetic north aligns perfectly with true geographic north. This coincidence can throw off navigators, especially in the days when seafaring was entirely reliant on magnetic compasses. Furthermore, massive iron ore deposits in the Earth's crust could influence the magnetic field in the region, leading to sudden shifts in compass readings that could disorient a captain, potentially leading to disaster in poor visibility. The Gulf Stream and rogue waves. The Bermuda Triangle is directly in the path of the Gulf Stream, one of the planet's most formidable ocean currents. This underwater river carries enormous volumes of warm water from the Caribbean into the Atlantic at speeds up to 5.6 miles per hour. The Gulf Stream not only creates strong currents, but also contributes to rapidly changing weather patterns, sudden squalls, the formation of powerful eddies, and even waterspouts. The sheer force of the Gulf Stream can explain why wreckage is rarely found. It would be swept hundreds of miles away in a short time. Crucially, the triangle is a confluence zone where powerful weather systems meet, making it prone to rogue waves, isolated, giant waves up to 100 feet tall. Computer modeling has shown that when two intense storm systems collide in this area, they can generate devastating, unpredictable megawaves capable of instantly overwhelming and sinking even large, sturdy vessels, leaving no time for a distress call. The other side of the coin. Alternative theories. While scientists strive for rational explanations, there are plenty of equally fascinating alternative theories that keep the imagination running wild. Some believe the area hosts interdimensional portals. Others suggest the sunken technologies of Atlantis are at fault. And a few theorize the anomalies are caused by extraterrestrial presence. Wormholes and time warps. One of the most captivating hypotheses involves wormholes, hypothetical tunnels that could connect different points in space and time based on Einstein's equations. Proponents of this theory argue that the triangle is where the usual laws of physics are somehow disrupted. Many pilots and sailors have spoken of seeing bizarre cloud vortices, tunnels, and unnatural flashes of light. There's the famous 1970 case of pilot Bruce Gernon, who claimed he entered a cloud tunnel while flying near the Bahamas. His flight time was cut by 30 minutes, and his aircraft momentarily disappeared from radar. The magnetic anomalies in the region are sometimes cited as evidence supporting the spontaneous opening of these time-space tears. Secret military experiments. A separate class of theories involves covert military experiments. The most famous related incident is the so-called Philadelphia experiment of 1943. According to rumor, the U.S. Navy attempted to make the destroyer USS Eldridge invisible to radar using a massive electromagnetic field. Something allegedly went wrong. The ship supposedly vanished and reappeared in a different port, with the crew suffering horrifying side effects. The link to the triangle is the idea that such powerful, reckless experiments may have created instability in the space-time fabric that continues to cause intermittent temporal and spatial distortions in the region. Underwater alien bases. One of the most popular and enduring alternative theories posits the existence of underwater alien bases. This is fueled by numerous UFO sightings in the area. In 1963, during naval exercises, The crew of a U.S. submarine reportedly tracked an object on sonar moving at over 250 knots, about 287 mph, at a depth of over 2,000 feet, an impossible speed for any known human submersible at the time. In 1997, fishermen off the coast of Cuba allegedly observed a massive, glowing object exit the water, hover, and then sharply disappear. In 2009, NASA satellites reportedly picked up anomalous signals emanating from the Atlantic seabed in the Triangle area. UFO enthusiasts believe that ancient alien bases might be submerged under the massive volume of water, and that the navigation failures are a result of their powerful, disruptive technology. Ships and planes, they suggest, are either being captured by force fields or transported to other dimensions. The lost technology of Atlantis. The discovery of the Bimini Road in 1968, a massive structure of perfectly aligned stone blocks on the seabed near the Bahamas, fuels the theory that this is a remnant of Atlantis. Though some scientists argue it's a natural formation, the stone's symmetry and scale suggest a man-made origin. Proponents of the Atlantis theory believe this structure is part of the ancient, sunken megalopolis. Plato's account of Atlantis describes a civilization with incredible technology powered by energy crystals. The hypothesis is that these crystals may have generated powerful electromagnetic fields that remain active underwater. In 2001, researchers off the coast of Cuba discovered a structure at 2,000 feet that resembled pyramids and buildings. If Atlantean technology did exist, it may have left behind an active force that is still disrupting the delicate balance of the region today. The hard truth, weather, errors, and reality. While tales of wormholes, aliens, and Atlantean crystals stir the pot and capture our imagination, and scientists try to explain the events with rational theories, there are much more down-to-earth explanations. In fact, it has been statistically shown that the rate of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is no higher than in any other high-traffic, dangerous stretch of ocean. Let's look at the most common, conventional causes of these tragedies: extreme weather conditions, human error, and mechanical failure. Extreme weather and natural hazards. The Bermuda Triangle lies in a very active zone for tropical cyclones and hurricanes, which can form and intensify rapidly, causing immediate wrecks. Superwaves, rogue waves, giant solitary waves, sometimes 100 feet high, have been documented in the Atlantic. These can instantly swamp even large ships. Thunderstorms and electromagnetic storms. Sudden, severe thunderstorms, when combined with the region's natural magnetic disturbances, can instantly knock out navigation systems, a catastrophic event in poor visibility. Examples. The 1918 loss of the massive Collier Cyclops is widely attributed to a severe storm. In 2015, the freighter SS El Faro, carrying 33 people, was lost during Hurricane Joaquin. The human factor, mistakes and panic. Many disappearances are likely due to navigational errors, inadequate crew training, and panicked reactions. Horizon anomaly. Where the sky and sea merge in the Atlantic, pilots can experience spatial disorientation at night or in poor visibility, misinterpreting instrument readings and leading to panic. Flight 19. Revisited. Investigations suggest the pilots of Flight 19 lost their orientation, believing they were flying toward Florida when they were actually heading out into the open ocean. Their radio transmissions clearly show that the squadron leader distrusted his instruments and became confused. Star Tiger and Star Ariel. Both aircraft were known to have technical issues and ran into strong winds, likely contributing to the pilots losing control. Technical failures. Many older vessels and aircraft were simply prone to mechanical failure and were not equipped with the advanced navigation and communication systems of today, which dramatically increased the risk of catastrophe. The SS Marine Sulphur Queen, 1963, was carrying a corrosive cargo of molten sulfur, and its hull was reportedly dangerously corroded, making it structurally unsound and likely to break apart without warning. The simple truth is that in the past, a vessel or plane running into a severe storm or suffering a critical mechanical failure could vanish quickly. Without modern distress beacons and robust communication, there was little chance of finding a trace. While the mysterious theories get all the ink, the reality is that the percentage of incidents here is not higher than in other volatile parts of the world's oceans. The Bermuda Triangle remains a legend, but the answer to its riddle may lie not in the extraterrestrial or the Atlantean, but in the brutal reality of nature and human fallibility. Beyond the horizon, global enigmas and the lure of the unknown, the lore surrounding the Dragon's Triangle suggests that the sea claimed them whole. Back in the 17th century, a Dutch trading sloop, the Sea Serpent, vanished in that very zone. Fishermen reported blinding flashes, phantom vessels, and violent whirlpools that appeared on a perfectly calm surface. Scientists often lean toward the mundane, positing that underwater volcanic activity releases enormous pockets of methane, dragging ships down into the depths. But what if the key to the puzzle lies elsewhere, something far grander than geology? Thousands of miles away, in the harsh, rugged territory of Alaska, lies a vast, cursed stretch known to locals as the Alaska Triangle. For centuries, people have been swallowed by this wilderness. Trappers venturing out for beaver pelts simply never circled back. A military transport plane carrying 44 personnel vanished here in 1950. Then, in 1981, a private Cessna carrying U.S. Congressman Hale Boggs disappeared. The search lasted months, but not a single piece of wreckage was ever recovered. Local stories speak of magnetic eddies that throw aircraft off course and strange mirages shimmering on the horizon, leading travelers astray, a clear sign of a powerful, unseen presence hidden within the eternal snows. The Phantom Village of the North. On the opposite side of the continent, by the desolate shores of Lake Anjikuni, stands an abandoned Inuit village. In 1930, a Canadian fur trapper named Joe LaBelle walked into the settlement and froze in terror. Every home was empty. Inside, warm clothes lay folded, food was left uneaten, and weapons were stacked neatly. The entire community had simply vanished. There were no signs of a struggle or departure. Miles away, the trapper discovered a team of dead sled dogs, starved and frozen. Ancient Inuit lore whispers that the people fell victim to malevolent spirits that snatch souls. Further south, in the dense Canadian taiga, lies another anomalous zone, the Muskoka Triangle. This region of thick forests, frozen lakes, and dramatic magnetic fluctuation plays havoc with instruments. In 1963, a small passenger aircraft disappeared from radar, only to have its wreckage discovered hundreds of miles from the presumed crash site. How on earth did it get there? In 2001, a private jet seemingly dissolved into thin air, leaving no debris. While experts suggest intense magnetic storms, they cannot explain how a storm could physically displace a large aircraft across such a huge distance. Lost in the South Seas. Down in the waters of the South China Sea lies the Vung Tau Basin. Here, large cargo vessels have been known to vanish in broad daylight, as if slipping into another dimension. In 2003, naval forces picked up strange radio signals from the deep, but their source could never be pinpointed. Bright underwater flashes, sudden rogue squalls, and complete crew disappearances all point to something massive lurking beneath the surface. Farther still, between the Philippines and Indonesia, stretches the Celebes Sea. Navigation systems here frequently fail, and strange lights are often seen descending into the water. In 1983, a Japanese freighter broadcast a panicked message about an unusual light in the sky before going silent forever. A decade later, a ghost ship was found drifting, perfectly seaworthy, but without a single soul on board. Was the crew swept away by a sudden storm, or did something far more terrifying occur? In all these locations, a profound puzzle remains, a mystery that fires the imagination. Magnetic fields, wild weather, and natural disasters may offer logical explanations, but the question persists: do they truly tell the whole story? Perhaps the world holds secrets that simply defy our grasp. The siren song of the supernatural people have a soft spot for the mystical because it offers a sense of wonder that transcends the ordinary. Supernatural stories capture the mind, evoke powerful emotions, and create the feeling that there is something more to life than mere science and logic. They infuse reality with a sense of mystery, making it less predictable and thus more thrilling. Since antiquity, humanity has sought to explain the unexplainable using myths and legends. When knowledge fell short, people turned to the supernatural. Thunder was the wrath of the gods, illness was a curse, and vanished ships were dragged to the depths by sea demons. Even in our modern, data-driven world, people still look for mystical explanations for events that fall outside their cognitive box. One reason for this attraction to the unknown is an evolutionary imperative. Our brains are wired to look for patterns and connections between events. If we hear an odd sound at night, our primal instinct tells us it might be a threat, even if it's just the wind. Similarly, people tend to inject mysticism where none exists. Furthermore, the supernatural offers comfort. When strange disappearances, disasters, or bizarre events occur, rational explanations can often feel cold, unexciting, or even terrifying. It is far more interesting and reassuring to believe the world is governed by hidden forces than to accept that events are just a string of random chance and errors. Myths debunked. When reality steps in history is full of cases where once sacred mystical riddles were revealed to be hoaxes or simple mistakes. In 1897, a strange flying object reportedly crashed in the town of Aurora, Texas. Witnesses claimed it was an alien spacecraft, and a body was found in the wreckage. The crash site became a mecca for UFO devotees. It later turned out the entire story was cooked up by a local newspaper editor keen to put his town on the map. For a long time, it was believed that the mummies of ancient Egyptian priests carried a curse for anyone who disturbed their rest. Following the 1922 discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb, the curse of the pharaohs spread like wildfire after several expedition members died within a few years. Modern analysis, however, showed that most deaths were due to infections caused by highly toxic mold spores that had accumulated in the sealed tomb. Stories of flying saucers, alien abductions, and close encounters often turn out to be the result of errors, confusion, or deliberate misinformation. The most famous case, the Roswell incident of 1947, where the US military allegedly recovered an alien UFO, fueled global conspiracy theories. It was later confirmed that the debris belonged to a highly classified surveillance balloon launched to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. The man in the iron mask, whose tale was famously written by Voltaire, was rumored for years to be the twin brother of Louis XIV, or a noble of high birth. Modern historians have established he was merely a minor official imprisoned for political reasons. The mystery of the Mary Celeste, 1872, is a perfect example of how a mundane event became a mystical legend. The ship was totally sound, with all the crew's belongings and provisions intact. For decades, the stories circulated about sea demons, alien abduction, or a sudden dimensional jump. Eventually, the most likely cause was identified. The crew abandoned ship in a panic due to a leak or explosion caused by alcohol fumes in the hold, and subsequently died in lifeboats on the open sea. People love a good mystery because it makes the world more engaging. Legends, myths, and conspiracy theories are part of the cultural tapestry, a way to voice our fears of the unknown. But almost always, if you dig deep enough, a verifiable, albeit less exciting, truth lies beneath the surface. The business of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, from the moment the first spooky stories surfaced, has been more than a geographical location. It has been a moneymaker. The image of this dangerous, mystical place was crystallized in the popular imagination by writers like Vincent Gaddis and especially Charles Berlitz. Berlitz's 1974 bestseller, The Bermuda Triangle, was a marketing masterpiece that claimed the region was subject to unknown forces linked to Atlantis or extraterrestrial civilizations. The book sold millions globally and became a cultural phenomenon. This led to a surge of films in the 1970s and 80s. The Bermuda Triangle, 1978, The Bermuda Triangle, 1979, and countless documentaries. A cottage industry quickly formed. Journalists, writers, filmmakers, and even tour operators capitalized on the myth. The region itself, a vibrant part of the Caribbean, saw a boost in tourism. The mysterious reputation drew curious travelers. Major media outlets like National Geographic and the History Channel produced dozens of shows that, even when attempting to debunk the myth, inadvertently kept the flame alive. Tabloids like the National Enquirer regularly ran sensational headlines about disappearances, strange forces, and witness accounts. Who truly cashed in? Writers like Berlitz made a fortune from books that were constantly in demand. However, the most ingenious financial gain was made by those who began selling tourist expeditions in the wake of the Bermuda Triangle. Many companies offered, and still offer, special tours, boat excursions, and even cruises promising to sail the planet's most enigmatic route. The Bermuda Triangle has become not just a mystery and a piece of pop culture, but a genuine goldmine. People love secrets, and even if science offers logical explanations, the mystique still sells better. The Triangle's future. Will the mystery disappear? Technology is advancing, and mysteries that once seemed unsolvable are gradually being revealed. What is the future of the Bermuda Triangle? Is it possible that the puzzle that has haunted researchers and mystery enthusiasts will disappear forever? Today, satellite monitoring and deep-sea drones are charting the ocean floor, recording every change with pinpoint accuracy. Most disappearances once blamed on supernatural forces are now being attributed to scientific reasons: flash storms, powerful underwater currents, methane bursts, and even simple human error. We now know that most ships lost in the Triangle did not vanish, but sank for entirely prosaic reasons. In the future, automated underwater vehicles will systematically explore the seafloor of this enigmatic region. They may uncover sunken ships and planes whose loss was previously deemed unexplainable. And if the seabed is littered with strange anomalies, or we find structures resembling the ruins of an ancient civilization, modern technology will expose them. Furthermore, Advanced analysis will study the magnetic and geophysical characteristics of the region. Were the magnetic disturbances simply throwing off compass readings, creating the illusion of lost orientation? Or were deep-sea volcanoes venting enormous gas bubbles that caused sudden sinkings? With the development of AI and data analysis, we will be able to cross-reference every disappearance, find patterns, and precisely determine which factors influenced each catastrophe. It is highly probable that the Bermuda Triangle will cease to be a mystery as we gather enough information. Its mystique will dissipate like fog over the ocean. But will this corner of the Atlantic remain as captivating? If every secret is uncovered, will its mystical aura fade? Human imagination will likely find a way to breathe new life into the legend, because as long as the love for the unknown exists, the Bermuda Triangle will be not just a patch of ocean, but a portal to the unverified.